Hi!
I'm Lauren.
I'm Dakota.
I'm Josh.
I'm Alex.
I'm Dawson.
I'm Liberty.
Today we are reviewing Slender Man.
First off, welcome to the channel, Dakota.
Hi.
Yes. There are 4 girls, and they watch a video with Slender Man in it, and then Slender Man shows up, and that's the plot of the movie.
Yeah.
Gabooga.
This movie was never gonna be good because Slender Man died years ago.
The audience that they had 3 or 4 years ago was like our age. Nobody cares anymore. We've all grown out of our middle school fandom things.
Thank God.
It's not relevant anymore. Almost like they're trying to capture new audiences because like I kind of recognize in our theater at least, we were probably the oldest ones in there. So it's not like they're catering to an adult audience.
There's that lady in front of us who decided to take a nap at some point.
Just lay down. Like 4 seats. Just lay down.
The movie didn't scare me. I'm like, why the heck is this woman lying on the floor in front of me? The pacing was bad.
It's edited so weirdly. Characters will just randomly disappear from the movie for periods of time, and they'll just show up again. Things will happen, and you'll think that they're gonna amount to something, and then they don't. I think the thing is, this movie's just not that scary.
No,
There's
I was
just...
actually scared the whole time.
I wasn't scared. I didn't jump. I just sat there the whole time.
There were a couple moments that did genuinely freak me out. Like the library scene, mainly because Joey King's just such a good actress. This and the kissing booth. She's had 2 terrible
I just
movies.
feel bad for her
and
because she's good.
She carries pretty much this entire movie. And so whenever she's not on screen, it's just...
Like that lady.
The moments that were supposed to be the scariest moments made me laugh the most.
You could definitely see what they were trying to do, but they just failed at it.
On paper, a lot of the stuff seems like it should have been scary. I just feel like it wasn't.
I feel like this is like a massive fan fiction that got put onto a major motion picture.
Yes. This also just has terrible dialogue.
Just the opening scene, I was immediately like, oh my god.
It started off really bad, and then it got a little better because the creepy moments started happening, and most of them aren't good, but some were, so I was like, oh, okay. I liked what Joey King did with the character of Ren, because she's like the only smart character in the movie, but because she's the only smart character, it actually ends up driving her insane.
I can't do it anymore. He wants us.
What are you doing?
And then she just kind of disappears from the movie, and then it just plummets.
Like a little while, they stopped looking for Katie.
Later on in the movie, they just start like having montages of creepy imagery.
That didn't really work for me. A lot of that was like, okay.
She's walking around the hospital and the lights are dim and people are staring at her and the things in their rooms are just kind of weird. And then she wakes up and walks through the hospital again. It's just kind
Yeah,
of
she wakes up like 3 times in that one scene.
It's so flashy, it really like hurts your eyes at some point.
We're going to spoilers. Go to the time code at the bottom of the screen if you want to avoid spoilers for Slender Man. If you so badly want to see Slender Man, go to there.
Another scene in the movie that honestly confused me was Slender Man impregnated her.
Let's not talk about it.
Dawson was sitting next to me and then he pokes me and I look and she's just pregnant with Slender Man.
Her little sister had been on the same Slender Man side or whatever, and she looks at the video pans over, and it shows Ren.
I still don't get that.
She says that Lizzie came to her, and we were talking about how, like, that's a little confusing because there's, like, no setup for, like, Lizzie being interested in Slender Man or, like, seeing them doing something to do with it or anything like that. So it's just kind of like...
She had no idea about Slender Man at all.
They were filming like this and turned it this way. Why? Honey, that's not how you do it.
At one point, Hallie gets this date with like this jock, and this is their first date, and they barely talk in person. She sits down, he sits down next to her with his arm around her, and then they just start making out of nowhere.
But after that, when he was like, I promise I'm not gonna watch the video.
And then he does, and then they don't say anything about it.
The next day, he seems like,
and he has like
and
those bruises on his arm.
Yeah, he has bruises.
And then he's just not in the rest of the movie.
Then he's gone!
Also, they make such a point in that scene where they show up late to class that they're dissecting eyeballs, but then
it does nothing to do with the story.
Nothing.
Let's mention like that DeviantArt crap. You can't
it's not
take
even
that
good
seriously.
fan art. It's not good
And-
fan art. When you actually see Slender Man, it's exactly like he is in like the video game, but
Yeah.
like it doesn't look good.
That video
Yeah, it's
game
not
is
creepy.
scarier than that whole movie.
If he has no face, like just switching to like flesh colored skin over your face instead of
would
just
be
having it be
so
like a white like morph suit or whatever would have been scarier.
I heard that if you look at its face, it's one of the most terrifying things, and you just get cursed and it just.
They ask you how you are, you just have to say that you're fine when you're not really fine, but you just can't get into it because they would never understand.
Ren says something along the lines of, no, you can't just give him something you love. He wants us.
She's like, I have to get him to take me to save the other people. And then she goes up and she's like, take me. And he's like, okay. And she's like, never mind.
I don't know if her plan was to get away from him after saying that, or if she genuinely was like, alright, okay, I'm gonna die for my sister.
Everything stopped making sense at the end.
Yeah.
What's with the tree? Why is she a tree now? Why?
And then we have the very end.
Her sister is like explaining to everyone how Slender Man gets you. People summon him and then he kills more people, you know? It ends with the words, you know.
I thought it was like leading into like a big like point or something, and then just
I thought it would be like, don't look into the dark web, don't do stupid things, don't do that. But since they just ended it with I think a bunch of little 7th graders are gonna...
Because-
looking to Slender Man.
Well, it was a couple years ago where a girl actually almost did die because 2 12-year-old girls found this Slender Man on the internet and started messaging him back and forth, and he wanted them to sacrifice a human. And so they lured their friend into the forest and stabbed her 12 times. Both of those girls are in jail. Luckily, the girl recovered from it, but like, it's kind of scary in the fact that there are creepy people out there that will pretend to be someone just to trap 12 and 13-year-old little kids.
I think if they would have made that the focus of the movie, that would have been so much scarier than them having like the real Slender.
Should we go to final verdict?
Sure.
I thought this movie could be so much better if they made it not about the fact that he was real, and they made it about how kids can become consumed with conspiracies. It's not been relevant for a very long time. There's no interest in it. The acting was okay. It's not interesting. It's not relevant, and it wasn't scary. So I'm gonna give it a fat 1.
So I went into this movie really not expecting much, and then it didn't really give me much. So there's really no surprise.
It accomplished its goal. 10.
It really wasn't scary at all. I don't think there was a moment when I was like freaked out by anything. I gave it a 3.
I will own up to the fact that there were moments in this movie that actually did kind of freak me out. There were a solid 2 scenes that I thought were actually pretty decently scary. I thought Joey King pretty much carried every single scene she was in. Hallie was definitely the least interesting character in the entire story. I was gonna give this a 3, but considering how many plot holes and loose threads it has, it just fails to explain so many things and sets up so many things that amount to absolutely nothing. That level of irresponsibility has lowered it to a 2 for me.
So I went into this movie not expecting much, and so I didn't really get much out of it. It wasn't scary at all. I'm not gonna go home and not be able to sleep tonight. It's just one of those movies where it's just like, well, that was a movie. It's a dead subject now. Like, Slender Man isn't really a thing. The fact that attempted murder happened is freaking me out a little bit because movies and media have influence on kids. Especially a movie where it's like, you have to be dependent on somebody to like stop bad things in your life. It's gonna send the wrong message to some kids. I don't think that in this day and age it's a good message to have in a movie. For that reason, I'm gonna give it a 1. Also, 0 on the Alex cry meter. There's nothing to cry about in this movie.
There
That's
were
0.
people, then they were like gone.
You know, I came in expecting pretty much nothing from this, and I wasn't disappointed.
Another 10.
There's not much to say. 2.
Personally, I loved this movie. It was the most amazing movie I have ever seen, but really, this movie plays to a specific audience. The people that liked Slender Man 4 years ago, their purpose was to get all of those people that did that and to get them back so we can just get them to watch this movie and be really disappointed. Yeah. I'm also gonna give it a 2.
The final verdict for Slender Man is a 1.8.
Did Moshi Movie do better than that?
No, the Emoji Movie got a 0.
What? Listen, that movie saved my life. Me and Brett sat there in complete silence for like 3 hours.
The
Show
Emoji Movie
respect.
is not 3 hours long.
All right, what did you think about Slender Man? Comment down below.
Peace out!
Hi, thanks for watching. Click here to subscribe and here to watch our last video. Also, follow our Instagram and follow Josh's letterbox. Links in the description. You know. See you next time.